Alright guys, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be the Chaos Dwarves led by Pink facing off against Tzeentch, who's going to be helmed by Ghouls here on the road to Talabheim. Now, very interesting Chaos Dwarf build, super off meta. No trains, of course, although are trains even that good against Tzeentch? Could be tricky because of the Screamers, but we do have ZHATAN the Black, which is something you don't see terribly often. Oh my god, okay, I know how this is going. So, this is an absolute Goon Squad build. It's going to be ZHATAN using his net, which I believe he has here somewhere. Yes, the Sadistic Snare to lock down targets, and then getting the double Bale Taurus Goon Squad. Oh man, that's so much damage. 540, 540. And ZHATAN is on the Walmart Lamasu back here, but he's going to be trying his best. And he does have the Snare, and has these bound abilities too, which is kind of cool. In terms of gooning, using Enfeebling Foe for free on the bound Lamasu. Certainly not terrible. So we'll keep tabs. Going to be a Firecaster for Flamestorm to burn down troopers and the Bale Taurus. The rest of the Chorf army is going to be very, just kind of, I wouldn't say chaff. I mean, Chaos Dwarves are supposed to be semi-elite, but they're not very good. They're going to be moving up to the point here and looking to anchor 1 while the gooning commences, and then move their way over towards Objective 2. I suspect calling in some heavy artillery shortly after here. In the backfield, we could see it, and that will be it. Now, looking at the Hordes of Tzeentch, plenty of anti-single entity tools. We do have Kairos with the blue fire spam, as well as the Soul Grinder of Tzeentch, who's going to be throwing his Poseidon javelins at those bad boys. Front line of Marauder spears. Interesting choice. I guess that's to help deal with trains and or Centaurs. Not Centaurs, Bull Centaur renders. You get the idea. Cold Hellblast is good in pretty much every situation, and that is it for the Hordes of the Dark Gods. Although I guess they're both kind of minions of the Dark Gods in their own way. On the other side, Zangor is lurking in the bushes. I do like this. The Crouching Tiger, Hidden Zangor, just having him pounce out and, try and steal Objective 1 when it opens up later. Not a bad idea. He should be able to bully any of those Chaos Dwarf infantry. And now Kairos is going to be pulling back here and getting ready to get some sweet, sweet blue fires. So first Javelin going down, going to be flying at the big flying cows, and a direct hit on the Demon Smith. And of course, he does not have the capabilities of healing himself, so any damage you get is going to be good. And I suspect that Kairos will probably try and snipe the Demon Smith. It's the caster, it's a Bale Taurus, it's big, expensive, and taking that bad boy down would be cost effective. You can see Kairos wants it, and does also have Gaze of Fate. So Gaze of Fate will be excellent at locking down these big bulls and giving them a little bit of trouble. So Objective 2 here is going to be taken by Tzeentch. Nobody's playing Objective 3 going to be taken by Tzeentch, and 2 not taken by anybody. And the first blue fire going down, pretty good. It does hit the Sorcerer Prophet, but they have big HP pools. Bale Tauruses are very tanky monsters. I think their max HP is like almost 9,000. No, it's 8.2. A little bit off there. So Blue Horrors being called in, and more Zangors. The ambushing waiting in the trees. Hobo Goblins guarding the flank of the Chaos Dwarves. Probably a little bit suspicious of some ambushes or maybe call-ins from that direction. So they're going to be keeping tabs on those bad boys while Kairos Fate Weaver strokes the Scroll of Destiny to get those free reserves. God, he's such a good character. I mean, this is so much Winds of Magic. It gives you, what, for, 0.40 for 46 seconds? That's going to give you a ton of extra WOM over the course of a game. Well, over the duration, yeah, it's going to add up and give you a lot. So we'll do some fast forwarding. The two armies going to be jockeying for position a little bit here as Cold Hellblast moves up to the middle objective. The forces of Tzeentch prepare for the Hordes of the Chowie Tsar. On the far side, it looks like the Goon Squad going to be sounding the horn as Chaos Dwarf Warriors with Grey Opens have been called in. There's going to be some pressure on both sides. Hobo Goblins actually being committed to a fight here, so opting to charge into blues, but then they're going to be intercepted by Zangors here. Not going to be the best fight for them, and Screamers still sitting idle on the other side. Definitely should be over here supporting Kairos if they can, but the Javelin Man has been doing great. The Soul Grinder of Tzeentch, a really good tech, considering that Chaos Dwarf players pretty much rely solely on the trains and the big monsters to win games. The infantry is very lacking with Chaos Dwarf, so they're kind of forced into a situation where they need to do that. But the Javelin Man is a great tech. He can go fight trains, he can throw his javelins, and now we got Screamers of Tzeentch. Yeah, the Screamers will obviously lose this 3v1 if they decide to fight, but they're going to get some nice anti-large damage, and buy Kairos some time. You can already see the Bale Taurus characters not having the best of a moment. Chaos Dwarf Warriors with Grey Opens on the way in as far as the middle objective fighting goes. The Chowie might actually be okay here. They do have 3 warriors, although making a bit of a blunder not committing to combat. These Chaos Dwarfs should be fighting these spears. And now the Zangor is emerging from the trees. I love this play from Ghouls. Going to be sneaking over to the side and heading towards objective number 1, potentially able to ninja that. Now on the backside, the Chaos Dwarfs do manage to kill 1 Screamer unit. Now they're going to be like, all right, round 2, baby, let's farm another one. So they're going to be going after this. And honestly, 3 Bale Tauruses can probably kill a Screamer unit very, very quickly. Kairos not engaging. Flamestorm going down for the Chaos Dwarves. Pretty good cast. Actually does nail those blues and might actually lead them to their demonic disintegration. And now we get Bull Centaurs with the dual axes, which is a good call against Zangor meta. Chaos Warriors. Tzeentch does have Halberd Warriors, but we're not seeing any of those bad boys here today. And now the Bull Centaur render is going to be heading in and maybe even claiming this objective with a little bit of support. I don't know. Hard to say. Tzeentch moves some spears over, so we'll keep tabs on that. Now, over towards objective 1. Looks like Tzeentch is going to be able to get this one. The dreaded Zangor delayed. I love that. It's like almost in like StarCraft, having like a proxy barracks here or something, like moving in on your opponent's base and not expecting it. And yeah, objective 1 going to be taken, and over towards objective 2. Tzeentch does have it, and Tzeentch looks like they have a solid triple cap right now. As far as values go, Ghoul is up by about 1,500 value, and Kairos does have healing, but these big monsters are still going strong. The Demon Smith Sorcerer is hitting about 900 HP. That would be a pretty rough loss for old Pink here to lose that Demon Smith Sorcerer. I mean, that's a your caster too, not only a big expensive fighter. And Kairos looks like he's going to be going for the kill here. We do see the Gaze of Fate going down. Screamer is going to be called in to finish off the beast, and the Demon Smith Sorcerer is going to be broken and dragged down to the pits of hell by these eldritch horrors of the God of Change. So there you go. Farewell, sweet beast cow thing hybrid, whatever, man, bear, pig. Objective 1, held by Tzeentch. Objective 2, actually going to be flipping to the Chowie. Looks like a couple Chaos Dwarf Warriors were able to make their way over to the middle point, and they're fighting pretty hard. We do have the Chaos Dwarf Warriors versus the Zangors. Zangor is certainly a much better unit. Bigger HP pool, plus extra 1,000 HP on the barriers, faster Vanguard deployment. Zangors definitely need to get a cost increase of either 50, probably around 50 gold would be the sweet spot, but we get ZHATAN the Black going for a Gooning on Kairos, certainly going to be tough. The Sadistic Snare has a very short range, and even still, Kairos does have regrowth, so killing him is going to be incredibly tough. But the Chowie do manage to take objective, middle objective, objective 2. And objective 3, the Chaos Dwarf Grey Opens that have been grinding over there for quite some time, actually finally made some progress. These guys kind of have similar banners, a little bit hard to tell, but the dual weapon warriors or dual weapon bull centaurs seem to have made a big difference on this side, and if they can avoid the screamers and get on top of Zangors and other good quality troopers, that's where they're really going to shine. And it looks like they do manage to make their way over to the Chaos Dwarf Grey Opens. A Chaos Dwarf Grey Open should beat a Zangor. I'm not sure actually. With the charge being included and everything, could be a little bit of a tricksy Hobbitses. On this side, once again, really good roadblock from Ghouls. He's been able to perpetually put pressure on these Screamers and just keep these big boys at bay. So far, ZHATAN's at about 600 value in the Lamasu, and the Bale Taurus about 600 as well. So that's very, very good for Ghouls. And strange to not see any trains. We're not seeing any artillery from Chaos Dwarves. No Death Freak rocket launcher, which is always very good at sitting and bombarding these units. But again, Death Freak Rocket Launcher could get sniped, right, by the Soul Grinder as well as Blue Fire Spam and other Screamers maybe diving it in the back. Chaos Dwarfs can't have trouble defending those things. Oh, hell yeah, baby. The Immortals have made it to the battlefield, suffering the wrath of Tzeentch as soon as they arrive, but very cool unit. They do magic damage, which makes them pretty good against any demons, so if your opponent whips out any demonic units, whether it be blues or pinks or even Screamers, Soul Grinder, I believe, is demonic as well, or at least have physical resist. Yeah, so you're going to be able to really punish those bad boys down. The Goon Squad is free. I suspect they're going to go after the Soul Grinder if they can. Middle objective being held by the Chowie, and the Bull Centaur Renders with the dual axes proving to be a really, really solid piece here as they just keep mulching through these armored infantry. And yeah, like Chaos Dwarves are like close to being decent in a lot of regards, just a couple little tweaks here and there, and they'll be cackling all the way to the bank. So side objective, Goblin Labor is moving up, and it looks like they're going to take that one back. And the reverse sweep here as the Chowie start to close the gap, not only on value, but certainly on the objectives here. So side objective 1 taken by Chowie, number 2 going to be taken by them as well, and objective 3 looks pretty dominant for the Chaos Dwarves as well, as the Grey Opens in tandem with the Bull Centaur Renders should be able to dominate what's left of this fighting force of Tzeentch over on objective 3. And now the Goon Squad's coming in. His old ZHATAN finally got Zoltar. Is he finally going to get his laugh? You guys remember that from Dude, Where's My Car? It's an old reference. An elder millennial reference here. But Soul Grinder, going to get whooped on pretty good. He doesn't have anti-large in melee, and with the Enfeebling Foe active and a big armor-piercing monster, could be a little bit scary. But yeah, I was about to say, Cairo should probably get involved in combat now. Both of the Chaos Dwarf characters are relatively low. Man, imagine if Chaos Dwarfs had a Death Streak to call in right now, how clutch that would be at like picking off these characters. I think like the delayed Death Streak can be a pretty good tech. Like right away, people plan for it, and they will develop their initial strategy around it, but delaying it, calling it in a little bit later, does feel good. So Blue Horror's on the way up, Marauders with Spears as well, but the Marauder Spear spam is not doing very well against the Chowie Warriors. Yeah, Cold Hellbrass, of course, is going to be an unholy tyrant. This man is just going to be cleaving. Oh man, his animations are so cool. And if there's one thing CA does well, it's certainly the animations on these characters. Except the Zangu War Drum. That one needs some milk. It's having a bad time. So here we do see the big Soul Grinder getting a regrowth, putting up a good fight. Kairos realizing he's probably not going to win that fight. And with the Chowie Warriors coming in, he's going to be allocating his resources elsewhere, as we do see Objective 3 going to be taken by Chaos Dwarfs and their Bull Centaur Renders with dual axes. So I certainly understand the spears, with all these Bull Centaur Renders kind of cackling about. Another Blue Fire going to be going down on the big Chaos Dwarf monster. And here we get the blues arriving, but the Hobo Goblin's going to be able to swarm them pretty well. And it is 2 units of Hobo Goblins, about 70 of them in total. Kairos probably going to get a Terror Route on these bad boys, as he does get that rear charge. I suspect they'll break in just a second with Terror Routes. One does get terrified. The other one's going to be terrified after a couple more seconds. So middle objective, though, still Chowie. Objective 1, Chaos Dwarf sitting on that. They're not reinforcing it at all. They're just kind of sitting a Hobo Goblin Laborer over there, which is good. Here in the backfield, the Soul Grinder does go down. That's going to be giving the old Chaos Dwarfs, I would say, a pretty substantial lead. You have to remember, a lot of the value that Tzeentch does have is tied up in these big monsters. And if those big monsters are still running around the battlefield performing, it's not really like good value, because it's not like they're still out there, you know? Like when you outright kill a unit, it's not going to be performing in the field here, but a lot of the value that Tzeentch does have is tied up in these characters, which, like I said, are still fighting. So Tzeentch kind of looking like they might be out of steam a little bit. Screamer's moving up, although we do see the middle objective starting to flip again, with the blues as well as the Zangors arriving with a little bit of spear support. The Chowie do not have the numbers here to hold this, and Aecold Hellbrass is really dominating that objective pretty hard. Could turn into a pretty close game here. On the other side, Marauder Spears battling the Immortals, but who would have thought the dreaded Immortals would be like a good anchor on this point? These guys are just going to butcher. I mean, they're at about 60-50%, but even in that case, the Immortals could probably take a couple more Tzeentch units, especially like the Marauders and the Chaff-centric pieces. We do see them sitting at 80 models of 100, so pretty good fighting efficiency here, as the Marauders is going to be breaking rather quickly, I would suspect. But Tzeentch does get the middle objective, and now could this be the comeback for the Great Changer? Here we do see ZHATAN, or Old Zoltar, going for a gooning attempt, but he does get attacked by the Screamers, as well as Kairos, and a little bit of guard mode fire from the Blues. Hobo Goblins moving in to try and support the big man. Definitely need to get back here, but he seems a little bit trapped up. And are the Chaos Dwarves going to be losing their characters and potentially losing their momentum here in this game? Could very well be the case. Zangors and Blues can now rotate over towards Objective 1. There's not really anything guarding that at this point. Granted, the Chaos Dwarves do arrive with some heavy hitters, the Blazing Beards of Basharak, but the problem with that is Aecold Hellbrass. He's going to move in, just be a super scary power Sigvald, and basically just clear those units out on his own. Granted, it is still capture weight, and the blasting charges will be very nice, but the Bale Taurus character is back, and look at that! Old Zoltar is down! Yeah, he has fallen. Him and his Lamasu did not have a good time. There's ZHATAN, certainly in the Shadow Realm now, but the Demon Smith Sorcerer has been called back in, which is probably good. The Chaos Dwarfs do have a very, very good amount of Winds of Magic left, I would suspect, considering how early they lost their caster, so getting that bad boy back in there is going to be good, and it looks like he does go after Kairos. Now, side objective in danger of flipping to the Tzeentchian forces. Ghoul's showing why he's one of the top-ranked players on the leaderboard, coming back from a tough situation, and it looks like this point is going to be flipping now, and that could be man, this has been such a weird one. It's like, it looks like both players were doomed at one point. Like a minute ago, I was like, oh, Tzeentch looks like they're out of steam, but you don't see Aecold when you're looking at the whole battlefield, right? He's kind of a small target, but yeah, he was just doing work there. So Demon Smith's trying to fight it out, but alas, the chicken is going to be getting support from the Screamers of Tzeentch. And Zangor is going to be hustling up, providing some nice capture weight, while the side objective does flip as well. The Chaos Dwarfs do have the side point, objective number 3, with the Immortals holding it down. And Chaos Dwarfs could win on 1 point now, if I'm not mistaken, if my potato math is accurate. And the Blazing Beards of Basharak trying to butcher through these guys. The Screamers finally going down. The Demon Smith Sorcerer doing pretty good, considering the circumstances that he's being attacked by a fair amount of anti-large. Now, what are the Chowie going to do next? We do have a Bale Taurus, which actually came back, so if Pink does notice that, that's going to be pretty substantial. As far as call-ins go, probably just Helm's Deeping on the back objective here is going to be nice. Really good awareness by Ghouls, going for a big Pink Fire there, as well as the Tzeentch army ability, and getting a ton of kills on the Immortals, knowing that he is going to need to get that to that objective eventually. The Mortal's going to be running forward, and honestly, even in their tattered state, could probably defeat these Pinks. Pinks, of course, are demons, so their physical resist is what they love. And the anti-infantry here is going to be very brutal on these guys. But yeah, Chowie, maybe just Helm's Deep it. Yeah, just send a bunch of armored infantry, try and move over there, and maybe plan like a desperate snipe on the backside objective when your opponent gets there. And the Bale Taurus character not doing bad here. Certainly threatening this point a little bit, but I think the Bale Taurus man needs to come over towards this point and try and make sure that it does not get capped out. Immortals certainly living true to their name as they continue fighting. Another blue fire is going to go down, picking off how many of them? Does not kill but 1 model, only 1. So will the Chowie make it? Gaze of Fate would be really, really strong here. If the Chowie lose this objective, that could potentially be, game blouses for them. They really need to hold on to this point, because as it currently stands, they would win on 1 point, and it is getting there. So we do see the Hobo Goblins rushing up. Very, very good play here from Pink. Going to be trying to get some cap weight on the objective and buy a little bit of time. Oh no, but the instant terror route, Flamestorm attempt goes down, but Ghouls is able to dodge it, and now we do see the Chaos Dwarves. Looks like they're going to get there, pumping those heretic dwarven legs as hard as they can. Ooh, breath attack from the Bale Taurus. Very clutch in the Immortals, man. 431 kills, man. They're doing work. 2,000 value on them. And the Chowie do get several durable infantry up to the point. And uh-oh, on the far side, this point looks a little bit empty, although the Zangors should be able to run back and make sure that's secure. On the middle, I don't think there's going to be too much more going down. Looks like the Bale Torse is finally shattered, and now Tzeentch is going to be all in on trying to get this point here. This is a razor close game, ladies and gentlemen. The Chaos Dwarfs hustling up, Immortals anchoring it down, Hobo Goblins, Desperation capture weight coming in, as well as some Bull Centaurs with dual axes. That's going to be very good at clearing out your opponent's cap weight. And I think the Chowie might find a way to get this. There is a lot of Tzeentch coming in, though. Zangors and Spears, and Aecold Hellbrass is going to be on his way over. A tactic you can do if somebody pulls everything on the map is you can save up 1,000 gold for 2 Hobo Goblins and then, like, the Riders. And you can move to the back point and try and, like, ninja an objective just to, like, really clutch it out here. But I think just going all in on defending this point is probably the play here for the Chaos Dwarfs. So Warriors are here. Immortals just being the absolute MVPs this game, or at least in the end game here. We do see Kairos getting surrounded, popping the Oracle of Eternity. That's going to be good, giving him ward save and regrowth going down as well. Objective starts to flip to the forces of Tzeentch, but this big magic could be a big game changer. That's going to be big. It's going to probably hit those Zangors, and depending on the rotation, it looks like it is tickling the pickle of these Marauders here. Army ability going down from Tzeentch. The objective does look pretty close to flipping. Bull Centaur Render is going to be going in for the kill. And do the Chaos Dwarfs have any plays elsewhere? No, this is pretty much it. All hands on deck. And Tzeentch does get some more Marauders here. Chaos Dwarf Warriors able to get these blues broken. And this could be the end of Kairos as well, but he would have to flip this objective back pretty soon. That triple cap is going to be really taking its troll toll here. As the Immortal's still going. 479 kills, 2,400 value. Objective, danger close to breaking. Kairos Fate Weaver is steady, and do the Chaos Dwarfs have anything coming in? Currently, it looks like it's all hands on decks. No Hobo Goblins to help with the capture weight. Zangor is proving to be just huge with the Vanguard deployment. Going to be coming in from the side, and that objective is going to be flipping. Now, is there anything the Chowie can do? Double Hobo Goblin. Probably should have called them in. Could you done it elsewhere? Not really. I guess they just have to fight for this point back. And could they? Tzeentch is kind of losing on the point. I mean, they rushed a bunch of troops up, but the Chaos Dwarfs do have some pretty good fighting power here, and Kairos might actually go down, which would be a huge leadership hit to the Tzeentchian army. 4 leadership, 0 leadership. Is the big chicken going to be melting? Find out on today's episode of Dragon Ball Z. Okay, here they come. I think you just got to go on this point. This is the only point at which you have viable capture weight. We see the Goblins moving in here. Kairos is down for the count. Yeah, I think you just got to try and get this one. It's going to be incredibly tough. Aecold Hellbrass just making it a nightmare. And here in the middle, we do have Zangors. Zangors with more Zangors nearby. So I don't think the Hobo Goblins are going to be able to do anything. And I just think Ghouls is going to pull this one out. Wow, what a real roller coaster of a game. As you can see, 2 objectives in flux here. And again, I think bringing these guys maybe over towards objective 3 would have been able to flip it. Considering Tzeentch is just routing off this objective like mad. They're going to go for a middle cap, but the Zangors here are probably going to be able to anchor that down. Nice surround. They do have the Cowardly Despoilers, so when they get a rear charge on you, they do more damage. And the Zangors are starting to fold up, but the other Zangor unit's going to be on its way in. We do see the 2 units coming, and this point starting to flip, and I can't help but think it would have maybe flipped, but although I guess you need a double cap now, right? The game is close enough, so I don't know what the right choice was. Hard to say. Zangor's here getting chain butchered by the Bull Centaurs and the Bale Taurus character, trying to get him off, but Aecold Hellbrass hanging in there for the people, and I think Ghouls is going to whip it out. What a great game. What a great match. This was so scrappy, and Chaos Dwarves are, considered to be one of the worst factions, but it just goes to show, Ghouls is a top-tier player playing one of their mains, right? And Pink is someone who pretty much exclusively plays Chaos Dwarves in tournaments, and still was almost able to pull a win there. Very impressive stuff. So certainly some good, hope on the horizon for the Chaos Dwarves if they get some minor buffs. Cost reductions mainly. Hey, ZHATAN was cool. The Bale Taurus caster guy was an absolute chad at 4,000. And Bale Tauruses are very good monsters. They do work. What else did really well for the Chaos Dwarf army? We do see the Bull Centaur Renders doing good. The Immortals, 2,800 value on those guys. Man, what a great game. And Ghouls played super well too. 2,500, 2,000. Aecold was a hard carry as well. Very scrappy game. Very scrappy game. And both players fought tooth and nail for that one. And it was a great match. GG guys. See you next time. Take care of yourselves. That is it for tonight.